Welcome to the oddest little podcast on the internet. We are the Odd Pod. What's going on? I'm Stacey Kruger. Who are you boys?
I am casually indifferent.
I am radically not dangerous.
I'm Robbie, and I'm not prepared.
And once again, we have no Quantum with us today. Hey, by the way, guys, Quantum won't be here today.
Who's
stop the presses.
Right? What, does this guy even exist? Once again, he's like our Barbara Walters. He just kind of shows up when he feels like it. But,
So I guess he's doing a Quantum of Solace.
Oh, I'll be back later. That hurt.
But yes, guys, it was Thanksgiving for all of us here in the U.S. Did you guys in the U.S. have a good Thanksgiving?
I had lots of food, so that's always a good Thanksgiving.
I had lots of turkey, and the bathroom did too.
I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Yeah, because you're the British scum who doesn't celebrate Thanksgiving. What the hell?
Oh, sorry.
Why don't you celebrate as traitors?
Sorry I didn't partake in your weird fucking holidays.
It's not about
Don't call
because
ours weird.
Thanksgiving was before the whole revolution thing. Thanksgiving is based on the actual people just coming to this country and interacting with the American Indians. July 4th is about celebrating us being traitors.
Excuse me. Yeah, I know. Well, I'm damn proud of being a
And
traitor.
Canada celebrates Thanksgiving, but it doesn't have the same context, and B, it's a different, I think they celebrate Thanksgiving in, October.
Yep, correct. That's why.
I think we did.
That's why I gave Quantum so much shit.
I think we don't celebrate it here because the British are so used to being grumbly and complaining about things that we don't really have a lot to be thankful for.
God damn it. So did anybody have fun for Black Friday? Did you knock any old lady out for a TV on Black Friday?
I may or may not have channeled The Undertaker once or twice.
I was about to say, casual. Did you grab a walker, swinging it around in like a hurricane fashion to get everybody away from your now low priced fucking DVD players or PlayStations or some shit?
I do not go out on Black Friday. I never have. I never will.
I'm with you 1,000,000%. I technically did, and that's just because Clorox had to go. Clorox, my girlfriend, by the way, had to go get wheels put on her tire, and then the guy was talking at the shop. He's like, "All right, what day do you want to get scheduled?" I'm like, "Oh, what day is free? Oh, we got Friday such and such at 8 a.m. Yeah, we'll do that, no problem." I didn't even think about it, right? So she's like, "Oh, when do you schedule?" I'm like, "Oh, Friday, blah 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 blah." It's like, Friday the 24th. I was like, "Yeah, Friday the 24th." You did what? What? It was what? 8 a.m. You did what? At what time? What's the matter? I forgot Thanksgiving even happened, right? I forgot Thanksgiving was a thing. I forgot Black Friday even existed at this point. Yeah, so what? What's the big deal? It's your day off. That's Black Friday. Oh, shit. So she forced me to go with her as my punishment for daring to schedule this on Black Friday, But luckily it was at like a wholesaler kind of place, so most people didn't bother with the place. So we kind of just sat in the corner.
I was going to say, tires should be fine. Well, plus, if you have an appointment, it should be fine.
Well, it was Sam's Club, and people don't really bum rush that place on Black Friday, apparently. Walmart, on the other hand, it's a fucking all no holds bar,
Yeah, I will say I did go out on Black Friday once because I was working a job where I was off on Friday and Thursday or Friday and Saturday or something. Not a normal weekend, and I just happened to be off on that Friday, and I wasn't thinking about it, and I went out to I don't even know what I was looking for, but it was completely inconsequential. I just was like, oh, I'm off. Let me go out. And I forgot that it was Black Friday. I went to the store, My first indication should have been that I couldn't find parking. I went, I pulled into the parking lot and it was full. Full. And I was not the only car searching for parking. But unfortunately for me, I didn't put two and two together at that moment. And somebody pulled out right as I was coming down a line. So I was like, oh, there's a spot. So I pull in and I get out, go into the store, and I see a line starting at the cash registers and going all the way to the back of the store. I was at a Best Buy, so pretty big store. And I looked at that and I went, what the? And then it clicked. I was like, oh, right. Black Friday. I then turned around, got back in my car, and went home.
I don't blame you at all, man. I think what we did for total on Black Friday was we went and got our new tires at Sam's Club, hid in the corner next to the tires so nobody actually saw us, so we can ignore other human beings that existed. As soon as the tires were done, we went to go get food. Went to this nice little like hole in the walls like restaurant that not many people know about, thankfully. Managed to get in, get our food, have a couple extra tables around us so it wasn't packed, got home and hid the rest of the fucking day just so we didn't have to leave. It was fucking fantastic. And, you know, I probably should have went and got something I needed, you know, because it was cheap, but I didn't want to deal with humans. It's my biggest thing. I don't like dealing with humans, you know what I mean? I mean, apparently over in fucking the UK, they're just like, oh, Black Friday, fuck it. And they just walk away. But here in the US, apparently it's nuts.
Well, no one really cares in the UK. I mean, I don't know why you get so violent in America, because
I
in the
don't
UK,
either.
when we first started using Black Friday, like someone punched a granny and everyone else was like, nope, fuck it, we're not doing this anymore.
I love the country as a whole. It's like, hey, this is too far. God damn it.
Well, yeah, it is. I mean, I worked Black Friday, and I work in like a second-hand electronics store. It was so dead that half the employees got sent home early.
Oh, I wish that was the case here in the States.
So, first of all, Black Friday in the States has not been this crazy since its inception. I don't even remember. Like, there's a couple of different stories on why it's called Black Friday.
Well, it's to get your numbers out of the red and into the black, your bank account.
That's a potentially apocryphal story. One story is that it is actually called Black Friday because of a newspaper article back in, I don't know, the 70s or something about it. Some people say it's because it's a black day, you know, like doom. And now, Black Friday causing craziness is really relatively new, like maybe a decade, maybe pushing 2 decades.
Well, I think a lot of it's because they did the doorbuster stuff, right?
Well, yeah. So the reason Black Friday is so big, at least in America, is because what happens is all the stores on Friday morning, or it used to be Friday morning, they would put all the stuff that they're trying to get rid of on sale. And they would put it on like really big sales, like half price. So like a $1,000 TV, for example, using more modern prices and stuff, would be $500. And that $500 would get you like a big giant 100-inch HD 4K whatever.
Yeah.
So, but they don't put like it's not everything is on sale. It's certain items, and once they're gone, they're gone. And that is what caused the craziness over the years, is that because the deals are so good, people started getting to the store, they started lining up, they would sleep in sleeping bags. Then the stores were like, oh, hey, why don't we open a little bit earlier and a little bit earlier? Now Black Friday starts sometime on Thursday evening. And the deals like go throughout the day and night now. Like they put things on sale to begin with, but then they put other things on sale to keep people coming in. It's like a whole mess. And people going crazy on Black Friday is because of these deals. They are greedy assholes, and when I say that, I mean everyone. The stores, the people going to buy stuff, and they get into that mode of like, I'm literally going to kill somebody over this. And it happens. Like apparently there's already been like a dozen deaths or something, which is not a lot in the cosmic scale of things. If a dozen people died, then 20 kids were born in the same moment, But
just freeing up the oxygen. All jokes
but
aside,
that
though.
being said, people dying over this is really dumb.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I know. Sorry, Robbie, didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead, bud.
No, well, I'm just saying, like, I'll agree with the people being greedy. One of the things I've heard about Black Friday is some people bring stuff back that they've bought previously so they can rebuy it on sale.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
okay.
I wouldn't put it past them.
Well,
Like,
if that's what you want to do, that's what you want to do. I'm not going to slam
But-
somebody,
but-
but okay. You know?
the biggest problem I've always felt with Black Friday isn't even the wholesale thing. It's just people are stupid about it, and this is where the stores take advantage. The things that are on sale are certain items, but people go in with this mentality of everything's on sale, and they buy everything, even though most of the stuff that they're buying isn't really on sale. So the stores get the advantage there because people are idiots.
Well, I remember for a while there, politicians were actually pushing and pressuring stores to open early and early. And that's what caused a lot of the earlier, like, okay, we're going to open Thanksgiving night to stop the fucking rush. It never really stopped it because people
No,
are still
it just-
idiots, but it did lessen it at least
Well, sort of. Some
at some
stores
places.
took advantage of that, and there was actually a couple years back, I want to say it was like Walmart or some other big chain store, actually got into, I don't know if they got into trouble exactly, but basically employees were like, no, screw you, we're not coming in, because they wanted to open on Thanksgiving Day. Like, and for America, that is a big holiday. It's about family, blah, blah, blah. And people were like, screw you, we are not coming into work on Thanksgiving Day. This is like our one day off, you know? Mm-hmm. So, I don't know. The whole Black Friday thing is crazy to me.
I don't personally get it. I think it's nuts, but that's once again because I don't give a shit about things. I value time with my children a hell of a lot more than a thing. You know?
Well,
And by the way, about Black Friday, the deals you're getting on Black Friday actually aren't deals. Because the prices have gone up, the month beforehand ever so slowly.
Of course. It's only smart business, really. I mean, almost always when you get something on sale, that's what the usually is anyway, no matter what. It's only smart business to say, ha 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 ha, we got you. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, I saw this.
The real deals are in February.
Yeah,
That's
I
when
saw
all
this.
the leftovers get sold off. Anyway, go ahead,
I
Robbie.
saw this meme. It was basically this little drawn comic of these shoes, about $100. Then it says on Black Friday, it shows the new price 125, and above it says was 200.
sounds about right, actually. Honestly, it sounds about fucking right. Once again, I detest the whole thought of Black Friday. But I don't blame stores for doing it. They got to make money. They got to stay successful. They got to stay alive. So if they skip on a Black Friday, some other store is going to get the money. So I can't blame them for doing it. Yeah, I mean.
well, speaking of Fridays, and let's just say that this would be, Red Friday?
God, so Friday the 13th. Fantastic movie series, at least for a few of them.
Two of them.
Before they went totally
Two of
down.
them were good. The first two.
And then it all went down the shitter.
I
Yes.
disagree. Jason X was fantastic.
Oh, I hate
Well,
you.
okay, that was good in a different way, though.
Good in, like, what, the hipster, it's so bad, it's funny way?
Yes. That's the one that you watch with a bunch of friends. Maybe you're drunk, maybe you're high, and you make fun of it through the whole movie.
In the words of, what was the guy from Grand Theft Auto 5? Oh, the overweight...
Trevor or Michael.
Michael. In the words of Michael, you casual are a hipster. Jesus
Well-
H. Christ.
It's not hipster to make fun of bad movies.
It's hipster to love them because they're bad, I guess. That's one of the
Well,
hipster
I mean-
mentalities.
It's hipsters to be like, I liked this movie before it was cool.
That and
Yeah,
also, it's also
that's-
part of it
that's
is the
hipster.
whole. I love it because it's so bad, it's great. It's the same thing with Super Mario Brothers.
Well, if anybody loves that movie, they deserve to be committed.
I was gonna say I don't. It's not liking the movie. It's enjoying watching it with friends because it's bad. Like
Is it
you don't
liking
watch
it
one of these movies
unironically?
on your own. Like that's pointless.
I think it's like
That's
hipster to
being
like.
a hipster.
I think it's hipster to like those things like unironically.
Yes, that would be hipster. If you actually like the entire Friday the 13th franchise, that's being a hipster.
I would say it's actually quite the opposite for as far as the definition of hipster goes. If you like it, I think liking something ironically is the whole. I like it because it's it's ironic to like it because it's so bad. Haha. That's always been the definition of me. But that's just picking ass hairs at this point. You know what I mean? But moving past that, I found a list that lists every Friday the 13th movie ranked by total Jason Voorhees kills. Now, first off, I have to ask, why the fuck does someone put this much time into something this useless?
Because welcome to the age of the internet. I mean,
Yes, welcome to the internet. Why would somebody spend all the time linking all the Pixar movies in the same universe?
I suppose, you know what, touche.
Speaking of,
Touche.
I haven't seen it, but apparently Coco is a very good movie.
Coco. What's that?
The latest Pixar movie.
I haven't heard of that one. All right, cool. Well, I'll check it out. Well, more like my children will check it out because they'll be like, Dad, I want to see Coco. Okay, god damn it. But it goes from least amount of kills to most amount of kills. Guys, what's the least amount of kills by Jason Voorhees in a Friday the 13th movie?
The first one, because he didn't kill anyone.
Exactly. And not many people remember this because it was the first one. A lot of people kind of pass it over and they don't really remember that it was Jason Voorhees' mom, Pamela.
He had performance anxiety.
It was probably one of the better twists. In fact, it was all about this kid, Jason Voorhees, died at this lake, and the ghost is killing counselors because they're useless, and people also tend to forget Kevin Bacon was in that movie.
Oh, yep. He was the first one dead, wasn't he?
I don't remember, but he was one. Basically, it was in a weird way, it was a morality tale of, like, if you are immoral, then you deserve to die. And it was the story of Jason Voorhees is that he went to this camp, like a summer camp. And for those that don't know what a summer camp is, it's exactly what it sounds. During the summer, you go to a camp for a week or two, and there's activities, and then you go home. It's basically a way for your parents to get rid of you for a week or two.
Pretty much.
And at this camp, Jason Voorhees was a special needs child, and the counselors were having sex and getting drunk and doing drugs, and they didn't pay attention to him, and he ended up going out into the lake and drowning.
See, honestly, it's been so long since I watched it, I actually forgot he was special needs.
And
I thought it was just deformed.
No, he was special. Like, they didn't use the term special needs because it was the 70s. They probably actually said retarded, but
Yeah.
he was... The point was that the mother went crazy, and then in standard Batman fashion, it took her a few years to get trained up, and then she killed a bunch of counselors that went back to the same place. And then at the end, it reveals that it's her, and it was like, oh!
I want to see that training montage.
And then, in standard horror movie fashion, at the very end of the movie, the last survivor is out in the middle of the lake in a boat, and a small child pops out of the water and grabs her.
That one was... I never understood the point of that. The whole movie didn't feel right, and then the whole movie felt right until that point, and then you're like, this doesn't feel right for the movie itself. You know what I mean?
Right. It felt like a classic, classic in the future Friday the 13th movie or Nightmare on Elm Street or any of those. It felt like that stupid trope where it's the end question mark.
So like at the end of Freddy vs. Jason, where he's carrying Freddy's head and Freddy winks at the camera.
Oh God, that fucking moment. That fucking moment. I hated it so much.
So many bad moments. That is definitely a movie I love because it's so bad. Because it takes two franchises basically at the end of their lifespan. You know, Friday the 13th was dead by that point. Nightmare on Elm Street was dead. And they finally did the thing that fans were clamoring for. And it was so bad the way they did it.
I'll let Jason have his fun now. God damn it. That was... Oh, God, that fucking movie. You're bringing back heartburn for me here. Jesus. In case anybody wants to know, Pamela Voorhees killed 9 people. And then the 10th one, of course, was Jason coming back from the grave. Oh, Jesus. So next up was Friday the 13th, Part 5, A New Beginning. How many did he kill in that one, guys?
No idea.
Anybody just take a wild guess?
5.
0. Roy killed
Really?
17 people.
Wait, what?
Roy. The paramedic
Who the
named
hell is
Roy was doing
Roy?
all of the killing. Jason Voorhees did nothing.
Okay. Keep in mind, I have seen all of them. It's just been forever since I remember bits and pieces of the third one because it was like one of those movies that they played over and over on some late night channel.
Yep.
I remember a little bit of Jason X because it's so ludicrous.
Yep.
And I remember the basic story of Jason Goes to Hell.
But I can't help it. I do enjoy little twists like that. I can't help it, man. But basically, this is what happened. The New Beginning followed Tommy Jarvis, the guy who killed Jason years prior. Tommy's now living in a halfway house with mentally ill teenagers. However, Jason has returned, going on a killing spree, blah, 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 blah. Now you know it was Roy who did it. Once again, so many goddamn years since any of us have watched this. But, yeah, Jason killed 0 people in 5. But he got a bad rap. Roy, you son of a bitch, 17 people. What the hell, man? Can we just possibly shame Roy here? He's a bastard. So next up would be Friday the 13th, Part 2 with 9 Jason Voorhees kills.
Wow, it already is up to 9. From 0 to 9, that's pretty good.
Right, dude? He went for the first one where Mommy did all the kills. To the second one, he's like, I gotta catch up to Mom here, son of a bitch. But yeah, Jason Voorhees was actually introduced for the first time besides his little spontaneous burst out of the lake in Part 2. He hadn't yet gotten his signature Jason mask yet, which I could have swore he had number 2.
I thought he had that in 2 as well.
But no, he wore a burlap sack over his head.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah,
It had like mismatched holes and stuff.
I completely forgot about it until I read it in the story. I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot about that. He also hadn't had his over-the-top kills yet. One of the craziest ones apparently was with barbed wire, strangulation with barbed wire. That's it. I'm kind of surprised, honestly.
Yeah, people tend to remember Jason as a guy with the hockey mask and a machete, but he really doesn't use the machete that much. The hockey mask does play in pretty soon into the franchise, but the machete was just like I don't know. I don't know why people attribute him with the machete, because he tends to do the thing that all serial killers do in these movies and use the environment, you know.
Mm-hmm. Which, to me, I kind of enjoyed the whole environment kill. There's just something fun about him watching him pick up the first thing close and just killing somebody. I don't know why.
It all depends. It's kind of like in the Nightmare on Elm Street series. They had to try and get creative with the kills because it's dreams and because they can do anything. But there's a couple of them that are really dumb. For example, in one of the Nightmare on Elm Street movies, he turns the kid into a roach, and then that roach is in a roach motel, which is like a trap for cockroaches, and then he squeezes the box. Now, it would have been fine, because you don't really see much when he squeezes the box. He just squeezes the box and some goo comes out. But that's the problem. It's this, slime goo that comes out, where it would have been much more impactful if it had been human blood that came out.
I agree. I totally do agree, but I love that scene. I don't know why. It was just funny.
And then there's another one that's even worse, where one of the kids is an artist in this movie, and Freddy turns him into a drawing, and he swipes the drawing, and all of the color drains out of the drawing, and it falls flat to the ground, and that's the kid's death.
I don't remember that one. It's been so many years.
But anyway, continuing on with Friday the 13th.
So here we go. Oh, now this was the one. Oh, go ahead.
I was about to say one of my favorite Freddy kills is when he turns into a giant TV
Oh, shit.
and slams the person's head into
Which one
his
was
TV
that?
stomach.
I don't remember, but I do remember I know the one you're talking about, but I don't remember the movie it's from.
So here was the one that I remember this actually upset a lot of people. Friday the 13th, the final chapter. To me, that says final movie in the series, right?
You wish.
Exactly. Well, the fourth one, entitled Final Chapter, was in no way the final chapter because fucking money. This installment featured Jason killing somebody with a garden claw. Jesus Christ. I like it. I don't know. It's creative killing, I guess. Total 13. Ha 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 ha. 13 Friday. Shit.
That's actually what they were going for at one point. They were trying to make 13 Friday of the 13th movies.
Oh, I forgot about that, yeah.
It just never happened because they were so terrible that the franchise died way earlier than 13.
Mm-hmm. Next up would be Friday the 13th Part 3, but I can't help but say you got this out of order, guys. This one should have been number 9. The previous one should have been number 8. Because Friday the 13th Part 3 was the one in 3D. Oh, watch out. Ladies and gentlemen, bring your 3D glasses. You're going to see Jason stab you in the face. Oh, wait, it's just red and blue lines.
Yeah, that was back in the day when 3D was the red and blue glasses.
Yeah, that's actually the very first time he donned his hockey mask.
Yeah, that was also one that is one of those perfect examples why 3D as a concept is inherently broken, because the problem with 3D is either the movie doesn't focus on 3D and the 3D effects kind of just don't matter, or it does focus on 3D and the movie suffers because all they're doing is setting up 3D shots.
Yeah.
And that's what Friday the 13th 3D was. It was like, look at this shot of a thing coming towards the camera.
Do you remember the commercials, Casual? Because you're old enough to remember this.
No,
Oh.
I'm not. That was the 70s.
No, I'm talking about the commercials for 3D movies. Because remember, they showed them sitting in the movie theaters, and they saw this humongous blade come at their face, and they see someone throw popcorn. Oh, it's so real! And then you go to the fucking movie. Go ahead.
Well, I was just saying I've seen YouTube videos of that, so I know what you're talking about.
Okay, yep. And then you go to see these movies, and here's the thing: is I remember this. I remember how much of a disappointment it was, and you expect to be able to throw your popcorn. You're so scared because there's this huge blade at your face. You're going, "That's it. That's it." This was the, oh my god, the huge blade coming in my face moment. That's it? Really?
Yeah, most people don't remember this, but Nightmare on Elm Street 6 was in 3D.
Was it? I don't remember that at all, no.
Yep. And you can tell it. Knowing that, you can tell because there's all these, there's a scene where a character has a bat with some barbed wire on it because that will help for some reason. and they swing the bat towards the camera, like just so that you can get some 3D out of it. Like it's a pointless moment, and it's like, oh, okay, we get it. It's in 3D.
But the total number of kills in this one was only 12. So, list maker, you fucked up, man. What the hell? We demand perfection. Friday the 13th, the reboot. Which was basically, as far as I remember, was the original 3 packed into 1, wasn't it?
I have no idea.
I could have swore it was. I don't know. But yeah, total kills on this one was 13. Did anybody here watch the reboot?
The reboot of the franchise? No, I had zero interest in that.
Either of you guys?
Not that I remember.
I don't do horror movies.
You know,
Although
that
I
does...
have,
Go on.
although I have seen Nightmare 1.
That is still a pretty freaky movie.
Nightmare on Elm Street one, you mean?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Oh, it's a good fucking movie. Of course, me being obsessed with Freddy, I guess I would say that, huh? And by the way, in case anybody's wondering, I need to feel since we talked about Freddy so much, real quick. No, I did not get my last name from him. Okay, so shut the fuck up. I've heard that so many times. Oh, you like Freddy, huh? Yeah, I do. It's not because of my last name, you cunt. Fuck off. I'll tell that story one day. So next up would be Friday the 13th, Part 7, The New Blood. Woo! So apparently Jason's been at the bottom of Crystal Lake, laying dormant. This just sounds like a bad Final Fantasy in the starting. Let's just throw it out there right now. He's been laying dormant at the bottom of the lake. Really? In New Blood, a telekinetic teenager reses him. Really? Really? And now must find a way to stop him. God damn it. Why? They couldn't have thought a better way of doing this than just saying, and now this horrible man's been laying at the bottom of Crystal Lake where nobody would ever think to look for him until the one mental one decided to res him and now needs to find a way to stop him. Can we say the 80s in a nutshell right here? I mean, seriously, man.
I love how in some movies the primary focus takes away from the secondary focus because reasons. For example, in this story, Jason Voorhees, the killer that's brought back from the dead, whatever, there's a character with telekinesis. Like, isn't that the more interesting story here?
Right, dude?
Or like in Spider-Man 2, the main story is the guy has these arms, right? Mm-hmm. But he invented artificial intelligence. Like, it's a throwaway line. Most people forget about it. But he says, the artificial intelligence chip allows me to control the... You invented artificial intelligence, and we're focusing on robot arms.
Yep.
Anyway.
So in this one... I love this one because it has two of the greatest moments. First, the ridiculous kill, because every Jason fucking flick has that ridiculous kill. This particular one had the one where he drove the party horn through the chick's eye. Does anyone remember this part?
No.
Oh, it's dumb. I remember it, too. It's pretty fucking dumb. It was one of those moments where you're like, I feel like YouTubing for 3.5 hours straight. And I found, like, the most ridiculous kills, because I don't remember watching this one, honestly. Because I was just getting bored with Freddy by this point. Not Freddy, excuse me, Friday the 13th by this point, And, so, yeah, the most ridiculous kill, he actually picks up a fucking party horn and just right through the chick's eye. And that's how he kills her. Because Jason. But this one does have the most memorable kill. When you think of memorable Jason kills, what's the most memorable Jason kill for you guys? Like, when you think of it, what's the first kill that you can think of?
The one that always comes to my mind is from Jason X when he walks into a holodeck kind of thing. Mm-hmm. It's like a holodeck of the camp where he used to be. There's two campers. He grabs one of the campers, stuffs her in a sleeping bag, and beats the other camper to death with her.
Okay, now that I was gonna say that actually comes from, I believe it was the 3D one, because in that one he picks up a person in a sleeping bag and he beats them against a tree.
That's
the
this
one
one,
that
actually.
I always remember.
Number 7, New Blood, is where that one came from. That's actually what I was going to bring up. This one right here. He picks her up and swings her against a fucking tree and just beats the shit out of her. I mean, that's a cool kill.
Well, okay. It's again though, it's a lame kill, because when you go to a horror movie like this, you expect blood, you expect boobs, and you expect that everybody's going to die except for the one that survives, except for the twist at the end. And this is one of those kills where it's like, oh, she or he is dead. Okay, but we didn't see anything. He just picked up an empty bag and beat it against a tree. It's like, come on.
Oh, I can get what you're saying there, but to me it was just visually appealing, just because you've never had that thought of like, if I could, I'd pick you up and throw you against a tree and beat the shit out of you against a tree.
Well,
never had that thought, and you see it in real life, you're like, that's fucking awesome.
Let me put it to you this way. When the Hulk grabbed Loki at the end of the Avengers and beat him into the ground, that worked for the Hulk. Because you understood his rage, because he's a big giant rage monster. But when Jason picked up somebody in a sleeping bag and beat them again, he like hit them multiple times, which, okay, that will probably kill them. But Jason as a concept, to me, works best when he doesn't exert a lot of effort to do what he does, because he's like the Terminator. He slowly comes towards you. You can't avoid him because he never stops. And then he grabs you and he stabs you once and he's done. You're dead. When he picked up, if he had taken that person in the sleeping bag and he had just hit them once against the tree, like so hard that you can see them wrap around the tree in the way a human body can't wrap around it, or let's say he hits them against the tree and suddenly a pool of red starts to appear on the sleeping bag. That would have been cool. But when he did it, he picked them up and he hit them 5 or 6 times. And it's like, are you beating a rug or are you killing somebody? Come on, dude.
I can understand, but I respectfully disagree. I thought this was one of the greatest kills, and I just loved it visually. I thought it looked so cool. And by the way, in case you're wondering, it was 15 kills in that movie. So next up... go ahead.
I was just going to say, I think we can all agree either way that the sleeping bag kill is the most memorable one, because we all remember it.
Well, look, we just had a debate over it. How can that not be memorable, right? Number 5 would be Friday the 13th, Part 8, Jason Takes Manhattan. I remember when I heard this, I was like, are you fucking kidding me? I remember looking at my mom going, really? Really?
That was the first Friday the 13th, and I'm dating myself here, that I saw the trailer for when I was a kid and was like, I want to see that. I was too young.
Yeah.
But
I just remember looking at the video store. I was like, Mom, I thought he was out in the woods with campers. She went, I know, let's move on. You don't need to see that. But yeah, I was just like, really? That, but in this one, he takes Manhattan because Voorhees gets on a boat, heads to Manhattan with a group of graduating high school students, and takes them all out one by one. Because, unlike the title states, though, he spends very little of the time in actual New York City. The kills in the movie get more intensive and more ridiculous because... Jason.
Yeah, it's actually, it says Jason Takes Manhattan, but it's actually on the way to Manhattan.
Yep.
Like all of the stuff that happens is on transit to when they eventually get in the boat, it's going to New York. And I want to say that the scene that they focused on in the trailer, classic trailer misdirection, the scene that they show in the trailer is the back of Jason with his machete in one hand and Manhattan skyline and a big lightning bolt strikes,
Mm-hmm.
Ooh. That's, I believe, the last scene in the movie. They arrive at Manhattan and then it ends.
So, This one, the most ridiculous kill of the movie, he literally punches someone's head so hard the head flies clean off the body. Visually cool
I don't
as
remember
hell.
that.
Visually cool as hell, but you kind of stop and go, really? You know?
But that's Jason. That's what
Exactly.
he does. You know,
Well,
one punch. You know, he's literally one punch man.
I guess I think that kind of goes back to my argument of why him picking up somebody and beating him against a tree so hard over and over again is cool for him, because that's just brute strength Jason. But so total kills in this one, 15 with a little asterisk. The count could be as many as 18. There was a couple accidents here, as well as a guy who Jason throws into a mirror at the diner. There's no confirmed kills. Also, in addition, there's no way to know how many people were killed when the SS Lazarus sank. But confirmed kills were 15 because reasons.
Sure.
It gets better and better. Jason Lives, Friday the 13th, Part 6. Oh, God. So on this one, Jason comes. Oh,
But he doesn't live. Like, that's kind of the point.
I know. Okay, I know. It's just.
We're gonna change Casual's name to pedantically challenged.
Jason comes back to life in the sixth movie. Tommy Jarvis from New Beginning tries to dispose of Jason's body, but actually brings him back to life. Oh, gee.
Because reason.
Exactly. While the movie features a lot of machete hacking mayhem, the best kill in the movie was from an officer getting a metal dart thrown into his skull. Because Jason.
Oh, okay. This brings up a real sore point for me. Now, we all know that Daredevil, the first movie with Ben Affleck, is a terrible movie.
Oh yeah.
But there's a kill in that movie that is the worst kill of all time, and
Something tells me you're referring to Bullseye.
Yes. So Bullseye is like his big power. I don't even know if it's a power. Is that he can hit anything with anything. That's okay. Whatever. In this scene, he is straightening a paperclip. Okay. Now,
Okay.
a paperclip is not very thick, right? It's a paperclip.
Mhm.
And then he throws the paperclip at a guy, and it sticks in the guy's forehead, and he theoretically dies.
Wait, what?
Now, first of all, I don't care how strong you are. Well, no, that's not true. If you're superhero strong, but if you're a human, which Bullseye is theoretically a human, that's again part of his counter to Daredevil. He's another human guy with this inerring accuracy for some reason. You cannot throw a paperclip hard enough to do anything. And second of all, if a paperclip entered my head and I could still like grab the paperclip, I would just pull it out and go, "Ow! What the hell?"
I would counter that with tornadoes can throw straw hard enough to go through concrete and penetrate human bodies, but I don't see any human be able to throw anything the speed that a tornado can. You know what I mean?
And also, it still wouldn't kill you because it's a paperclip. It might hurt and it might do a little bit of brain damage, but not much because it's a paperclip.
I would say it depends on how fast the speeds were, how deep it goes, and if you're able to pull it out, I guess. But I still, I don't know. Shit. Really?
Well, since Stacy's talking about, nobody can throw the speed of a tornado, to that I reply, hold my beer.
I mean, if we're being like a paperclip, it's like a very thin object.
Yeah.
And I know that you can live without a vast majority of. Well, apparently you can live without a lot of your brain. So I
Right.
think you could probably live after that.
You could easily let me put it a different way. There is a true to life story about a kid that got impaled by a thresher. He was riding his bike and didn't see the thresher. It was not moving.
Thresher?
Yeah, like it's a big farm implement. It has a lot of spikes, and
okay.
he like turned the corner going too fast or whatever, didn't see it, and his head was impaled. Now, a thresher spike is like the size of an average adult male's finger. This is not a small device. He got impaled with this thing, and they pulled him off once the, paramedics and everything arrived and stuff, and he was fine. Now, granted, in his particular case, it was like luck, God's interference or something, because it went literally down the direct middle of his brain, so it didn't actually hit anything. But I'm just saying that a paperclip is not going to do anything.
Thanks, Casual. Now my head hurts.
God damn it. In case anybody's wondering... go ahead.
Talk about a splitting headache.
Oh! Now I have a headache.
Hold on. He doesn't get jeered off the podcast with his bad jokes, but I do. I call bullshit. By the way, go ahead.
Excuse me, sir. Had shenanigans.
Total number of kills in that one was 18. Number 3, Robbie's favorite, Jason X. Everything about Jason.
There were more than 18 kills in Jason X?
Yes, there was. Everything about Jason X was fucking ridiculous. Let's face it. It's in the 25th century. Jason wakes up on a fucking spaceship for some fucking reason.
Well, no, it's after the end of the world. They find Jason and bring him to a spaceship.
Why?
Because they're going to another planet.
It
looks exactly like Earth and has a camp on it that he later lands on.
Ridiculous setup, but the idea is that it's many centuries later after the last time Jason was killed, and they find him, and then they... I don't remember exactly how it happens, but basically he gets into a device that makes him cybernetic. So in addition to being undead and various other things, which we'll get into when you finally get to Jason Goes to Hell, he's now a half cybernetic dude. And
well, what he gets into, it's like a vat of nanobots, which are designed to rebuild human tissue.
That's it.
Okay.
It does do one thing. It creates the most ridiculous Jason mask ever.
Oh, that metal thing?
That looks awesome.
I'd say that one actually looked really nice. I did like the way it looked. It's just everything else about the movie was dumb. The over-the-top kill for this movie was freezing a woman's head in liquid nitrogen and then smashing it on a countertop.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that one.
That's very Jason-esque, personally. Smashing someone's skull.
I forgot about that one, too.
Total number of Jason kills was 21, but there's no way of knowing how many people died on the Solaris space station when it exploded. Number 2 for this one, Freddy versus Jason.
I just like to think that after Jason X, all the subsequent Jason films take place on another planet.
Right.
Wait, are you saying that? Okay, you are saying that. Anyway, continue.
I like where Cash was like, I'm not going to jump the gun yet. Freddy versus Jason pits two of the most iconic supernatural killers in the horror history against each other. Fuck off, Michael Myers. You don't matter because you suck. They fight to the quote-unquote death because wink Freddy head. But, there's a lot of stupid kills in the movie, of course. There's Jason wielding a flaming machete,
Okay, here's the question, though, because I might be mixing up my Friday the 13th at this point, but wasn't Jason versus Freddy, didn't that actually take place kind of in another weird future thing where they were on, some people were trying to do, a holodeck type thing and, trap Freddy and Jason to get rid of them or something. I don't remember.
Honestly, dude, it's been so many years since I watched this because I was like, it's Freddy, I have to watch it. And it was such a Passover movie where it was
terrible.
Except for the fight scene between the two of them, which was okay at best. It was just a forgettable movie. But, so when Jason has his flaming machete, he goes and takes out a whole bunch of partygoers at a rave because Jason hates kids having fun.
Yes.
Total number of Jason kills on this one was 22. But it's hard to pinpoint exactly how many people were killed at the rave scene. Number 1 was Casual's favorite, Jason Goes to Hell.
So this is actually my favorite of the Friday the 13th movies, because what is the one thing that we hate in any horror franchise that lasts long enough? I will tell you, you don't have to guess.
Okay.
It's lore.
Yeah.
We hate lore because it makes the character that we loved, it waters them down. Oftentimes when we get lore about a killer, it tries to make them sympathetic. It's just, and more often than not, the reason that we don't want lore is because it's stupid. It's just plain dumb. Like, we don't need lore. Just give us the killer. Give us an 80-minute movie where he kills a bunch of people. The end.
Yeah.
This was all about lore and how apparently Jason is not a strange undead, like, whatever. Jason is a demon from hell that took the body of this kid when he was a kid, and then he grew up to be like a 7-foot-tall monstrosity for some reason. And it's all about how the demon has continued to live all these years, and how it's not been Jason all these years. Like, that was the other thing they tried to set up, is that it takes a new body. Like it's a demon and a parasite from space or something, and it takes a new body, and eventually it'll turn that person into Jason. It was so bad.
Wasn't this
so bad?
Wasn't this the one where they the cop actually ate Jason's heart and then like turned into Jason somehow or something like that?
It's yes, that
okay, yep.
It's like he like, and Jason is an entity that is from hell, and the one thing that this movie did, though, is it set up Friday the 13th versus Nightmare on Elm Street, because at the end of this movie, they kill Jason finally. Which they kill him in every movie, so it's not like he's going to go away. But
yeah.
They kill him to the point that the demon itself is gone now. Yay! And at the end of the movie, you see Jason's mask sitting on the ground. And then a clawed, knifed, gloved hand pops out of the ground and grabs the mask.
Oh, here comes Freddy.
And that's pretty much what set everybody on the like, oh my god, they're doing Freddy versus Jason! Ah! And then it took them like another decade to finally get around to that.
I was still pissed that Jason came out on top in that one. I wanted Freddy to win that one, damn it.
He should have. I mean,
right?
he's
so much more smart than just an overgrown brute, but that's just me. So the ridiculous kill on this one was a woman getting drowned in a deep fryer. Could we imagine that death? I mean, just stop and think about that for 30 seconds. Could you imagine that death?
I think you would die before you drowned.
You would think so.
Yeah, you'd get burned to death, wouldn't you?
Right? You would think so.
Yeah.
I mean, well,
let me put it this way. You'd hope so.
Right? Jesus Christ. And total number of kills in this one was 25. 10 of which involved a group of citizens that were killed off screen, of course. So the total kill count was 163 people killed by Jason. Holy fuck nuts, dude. Holy fuck nuts. I don't care if it's a joke or not. That's still, not not a joke. A mythos, a fake kill or not. That's still an amazing kill count for a movie. Period. You know what I mean?
Dude has one heck of a kill-death ratio.
Right. I mean, COD players all around the world would kill for that KDA.
Now, it should be noted, he technically dies more than once in Jason Goes to Hell, because he gets killed and then his weird black, disgusting slug monster comes out of people's mouths and crawls into somebody else.
Yummy. But
delicious.
So in case you ever wanted to really know a lot about a killer that didn't exist in his kill count, there you go. There's your kill number right there, guys.
And here's the best part. They still haven't gotten to Friday the 13th 13. Even counting the idea that the reboot still counts as part of the franchise, there's only 12 movies.
Do you think they'll ever do it?
Yes, I think one day down the road, because Friday the 13th reboot did not do well. Nobody's going to go see nobody's even going to attempt to make a sequel. But I think they'll try and reboot it again, and that'll finally get them to 13 technically.
And they're like, "Fuck it, we're done. We're walking away from this shit. We're never doing it again."
I will say this much, speaking of horror movies that got rebooted, there were a bunch of them, all in a row. They redid Evil Dead, they redid Nightmare on Elm Street, they redid Friday the 13th, they redid Poltergeist. Now, I am a huge fan of the first Poltergeist movie. The sequels, not so much. They were kind of terrible. But the reason I'm a fan of the first Poltergeist movie is it is so vastly different than almost every horror movie out there, in that the first almost half of the movie is suburbia. It's just this happy little suburban environment, and families doing family things, and dad is getting annoyed by his neighbor and all these other little things. And over the course of it, it's almost like a strange sci-fi. Oh, these strange things are happening. Let's investigate them and stuff. And then it takes the turn for the horrible and, everything that happens. It also has one of the better, twists in that, just like most horror movies, it gets to the point where everything ends. And they've solved the problem, the things have completed. Oh, yay, we can take a breather and we'll get the credits. And then it flips it on its head, and it hasn't stopped, and everything... It takes all the build-up and horror that it had led to, which was great, and then it ramps it up to 11 for the last 10 minutes.
I don't know. I liked it because it was a brand new take on what could be horror. It doesn't have to be a huge monster that's chasing after you, trying to stab you in the face 24/7. It could be just a bunch of spirits who are really pissed off at you for doing something. You know what I mean?
The one thing I will say, though, since I was bringing up the remake stuff, I watched the remake finally.
How was it? I heard bad
awful.
things. I heard some really bad things.
Awful. Oh my word! They didn't do anything right. They didn't they started setting it up that it was horror in the first 5 minutes. They started doing lore stuff. They went to the other side, which was the problem with the second movie. Yeah, it was awful. Do not watch.
Well, I have no plans to whatsoever. And you know what? A bunch of other people have no plans to watch. Walking Dead, apparently. Show of hands here. Does anybody here still watch The Walking Dead?
I never started.
Casual?
I watched The Walking Dead when it first came out because I liked the comic. The comic, by the way, really good. Still really good. But the series... Okay, so TV is a different animal. You always have to accept the medium that things are in. But the first few episodes of the series were actually pretty good. Mm-hmm. They were following the story of the comic pretty closely. There's even a moment that they did in the comic where that they also did in the series where the main character fires a gun inside a tank, and like he gets his ears ringing because he just fired a gun inside a tank without hearing protection. Now, I find it hilarious because he also fired a gun under the tank, and it's going to have the same effect, but that's beside the point.
Well, not as bad, because there is places for the sound waves to go, but still bad.
Sure, but still, anyway, that aside, it was very from the comic. I was like, ooh, this is really going to be interesting. Then they did the last episode of the first season, and I was very annoyed. The reason I was annoyed is, allow me to explain for those that don't know what The Walking Dead, the comic, is about. It's not about the zombies. It is about what humankind does to itself in an apocalypse. It's basically Lord of the Flies, the adult version. It is humanity being both horrible and amazing in situations where society has broken down. The last episode of the first season, though, was all about the zombies. Like, it was literally explaining the zombies, and it was the episode that I just, I look at it and I say, okay, I understand because it's TV, some people are going to be like, well, how do the zombies work? But it annoyed me. That being said, I did continue watching it. I actually liked the farm. Most people jumped off at the farm.
That's where I got bored halfway through, but I'll tell you why I got bored. So go ahead.
Okay, so the reason I like the farm is, for me, it personified exactly what The Walking Dead was. It's a character show. It's about the characters. It's about their interactions. Yes, there are zombies. That is the threat. It could just as easily be wolves for all that it matters. But that being said, I understand why some people thought it was boring because they didn't leave the farm. Now, in the comic, that's a plot line for a lot of issues. They are on this farm and stuff like that. But I think it, pun not intended, but now that I think about it, fully intended, it reads better when it is in comic form.
Wah, wah, wah.
Like that the way the interactions are done, they are better in that format, I think. And as a series, it does, I agree, it is slower, and it is like watching 12 episodes of a bottle show, which, if you don't know what a bottle episode is, it's where they stay in one place for, the whole episode.
Oh, well, okay.
This is 12 episodes of that, and I can see why people didn't like it. Now, me, I left right as they were introducing a character by the name of Negan. And I left because of two reasons. One, they had done some things in that season that I was just not happy with anymore. Like, one of the characters survived 3 potential deaths, and he should have died. So I was just annoyed by that. But two, the character of Negan is watered down in that show because he has to be. Because it's a network, cable net. I don't know how that works anymore. It is a show that they can't do anything they want. They can't show boobs. They can't have, F words. And Negan in the comic is a character that needs his F words. So by watering him down, he sounded like a cartoon character from a really bad like farce of The Walking Dead, and it just
Really? They couldn't carry that character without fuck?
No, because what they tried to do was they tried to give him. He says poopy pants. And he doesn't just say it once. He says it more than like. Apparently, he says it in the. It just you can't do that. Like, just don't have him swear if you can't have him swear properly. But instead, they tried to like do workarounds for the series, and it just didn't work.
Poopy pants.
Yes,
I regret not watching an episode just for that line now, so I could have made fun of it. Okay. Fucking poopy pants! They couldn't just like they couldn't have made some reference to shitting your pants, like filling your drawers or something. They had to go poopy pants.
Yeah.
Oh, for Christ's sake.
Like I said, but that wasn't actually the reason I stopped. It was also because they decided to do a classic TV thing where he's going to kill somebody with his famous bat. Again, it has barbed wire on it. I don't know why people do that. Anyway, and he goes to kill somebody, and it cuts to black, and then season end. Find out who dies next season. Like, no, I was done at that point. I have not watched it since. And from what I understand, I'm glad I left when I did, because the next season most people were not happy with.
I was about to say, that's kind of what the story I'm reading here is. By the way, Red, didn't mean to cut you off there, bud. Did you get into Walking Dead at all?
Nope.
No, okay.
I did not.
Sounds good. Well, at least we weren't walking over you going, excuse me, guys. I like this. What? Oh, Jesus Christ. God damn it. With me, I got into it until about the end of the first season. I was like, I don't like what's this going. It just felt awkward. And then came the farm, and I think and it wasn't the fact that they're on the farm. The fact that they're on the farm, I did like it. I liked what was happening. It seemed interesting, but I just got bored because they followed the same exact blueprint for every single episode in the first season, halfway through the second. I came back every now and then to see, and it was still the same exact fucking blueprint. Start off with something heart-wrenching, real big lull, huge action, cliffhanger. And I might be getting it wrong. I would have to watch it to get the blueprint again.
No, that sounds about right.
Every fucking episode, you can fucking count on it. You could walk away for 5-10 minutes, walk back, and not miss anything. Go, okay, here comes the rest of the episode. And it was just full of filler during that part where it was just boring, which I get. A lot of shows are like that. That's normal because you got to have some type of format. But don't have it be that rigid, and that's why I walked away from it, because I just got bored of going, okay, here it comes now. Yep, called it. It just got boring.
It followed the same formula over and over again, so it basically became Power Rangers?
Pretty fucking much, actually.
Yeah. I mean, for me, like, I didn't mind that because I enjoyed the character interactions. That's why I stuck with it for as long as I did. But the last season I watched, it was less about the character interactions and way more about TV. Like, the first few seasons, they weren't doing things that normal TV shows did. And then it became all about doing the things normal TV shows do, and the format, like Stacy mentioned, was always there. It was just personified in the season I watched, and by the end of it, it got to the point where the little things I was able to say, I'm okay with them not dealing with this, or I'm okay with this thing being the way it is because I liked the characters. I no longer liked the characters. Like, I didn't like what they were doing. I didn't like the way the show was going. So, my catchphrase, meh.
I was about to say, well, I'm getting articles. I'm hearing a lot of people talking about it who still watch the show. And one of my friends who's like a diehard Walking Dead fan, she's even going, I'm getting bored. I'm just getting tired of it. And everybody's kind of pulling on Negan, saying that this guy is ruining the show where it's just too much. He's killing off main characters that everybody loved and everybody wanted to stay, and apparently one that was in the comics and didn't get killed off in the comics. And
well, to be fair to that, they diverged from the comics after the farm. The farm was pretty much the last time they were close to the comics, and they've gotten further and further away, which I'm actually fine with, because if you have read the comics and you see the exact same thing, it's like, well, I've already seen this, honestly, one of the things I loved about the comic, I have not read it in a while, but as far as I know, it's still much better, is I like the shock value that they bring in every once in a while.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something the show was missing for a number of reasons. One would be budgetary. They just couldn't do certain things. Like, for instance, in the comic, spoilers, in the comic, the main character, Rick, loses his hand in, 24 issues in or something.
Jesus.
And it's just gone for the rest of the comic, Well,
it's not going to come crawling back magically. That's
but
Thing, there you are.
They killed his wife in the comic. Only if I'm not mistaken, I could be mistaken. It's been a while since I read it, but they shot her in the stomach, which she was pregnant at the time, so they killed her and the baby. In the series, they had the kid, and it was like, oh, now I have to take care of this kid. I could be wrong about that.
I'd say if the series, didn't she die during childbirth, or if I remember
yeah,
correctly?
She just died during like she wasn't shot. She just like.
Well, it was
I don't know.
A C-section gone bad is what it was.
Right.
Why do I remember this shit? It was my ex-wife who watched it, not me.
Even if I'm remembering the kid dying wrong, the fact that she was shot is more shocking to me than the way they did it. His other kid was shot in the face, which happened in the series as well, but he was shot as a kid in the comic. In the series, he was shot when he was I don't know how old. He looks like he's 20 now. But, the things that they have done in the series have been half as shocking as what they have gotten away with in the comic. And as a fan of the comic, I wish they could have done some of those things.
Question for you. Since you're the one who actually kind of got into this flick and got tired when Negan came around, and you know kind of what's happening, and you know from the comics, can they upstage Negan and make the series worthwhile watching again because Negan's even worse, or are they going to have to kill him off to make the show interesting again? What can they do to bring back people?
I don't know. From what but one of the things I heard they were planning on doing is they were planning on killing off Rick.
Really? Him? Which
is ridiculous. Okay, so as a series, there was a point in the series where the creators were like, "Oh, this show's gonna go on forever." This was at the height of its, popularity and everything. But now, people are leaving in droves. Part of the problem, I think, is that spin-off show too.
There's a spin-off show?
Yeah, it's called Fear the Walking Dead, and it's like a prequel that deals with the beginnings of the zombie thing. We don't need that, and B, all it is more of the things that we don't like about The Walking Dead. It feels like it should be a show that is actually explaining the zombies because it's about the beginning, but it doesn't. So it's just more of the same, so why do we need it?
What the fuck, man?
Yeah.
I mean, at the CDC, when they went there to escape, they half-ass were kind of sort of explaining it, but just enough to make it worthwhile. Kind of like we pointed out in Spider-Man Homecoming. I got bit by a spider, it's gone, you can't get it. And that's all they really did.
And that's one of the things that's why I actually stuck with it for as long as I did, because they didn't continue to explain it. They never explained it beyond that. It was just that one episode where they said there's a parasite living in all of our brains. which was kind of cool when you think about it, because it means we're all infected all the time, and as soon as we die, we turn into a zombie. But then they also didn't really focus on the idea of how do you exist in a world where that's the case? Like, you can't even sleep. Everybody should sleep in their own rooms, locked from the inside, so that nobody else, should they turn into a zombie, can get you, and so that you can't get out should you turn into a zombie. Like, but again, that's the whole thing. Rick dying is supposed to be the end of the comic. Like, the creator of the comic said that Rick is going to survive to the end, but by the end he might die. If they kill him off in the series to try and bring back viewers, I don't see the series continuing. Like, he is theoretically the most interesting character. I say theoretically because I got bored of Rick, like, before the Negan season.
Oh, like I said, I walked away in the middle of the farm. I remember coming back because like I said, my wife watched it, and coming back every now and then. Well, now ex-wife. Moving on. JC, the failure at marriage. All right, yeah. But I came back and watched every now and then. It was just, once again, the textbook up and down bullshit. It just got boring. And from what it sounds like, they never really learned how to recover the goddamn show, because it just kept going downhill more and more and more.
Well, they had, again, the reason I stuck with it as long as I did is they had these interesting moments. You know, they had, for instance, spoiler, they had this really cool story with a character who in the comic actually died, but they kept her around. She was like the older mom-like character. But she had a lot of really horrible experiences throughout the series. And one of them was that she lost her own daughter, which was on the farm. And at one point in the prison seasons, she's kind of become the mother to these two little girls.
Okay.
One of them is feeding the zombies. Like, she finds out that this girl is like feeding them rats and like basically luring them, and this little girl is insane. Maybe it's because of the zombie apocalypse, her mind just broke, but she is clearly insane. And in one of the later seasons, they do this whole episode where she's taking care of these two girls, and the older one kills her sister and says, "Don't worry, she'll come back." And at that moment, the mom character, who has been through just horror after horror after horror, pulls out a gun and shoots the older sister.
Jesus.
Because she knows that girl she's broken in a world where we can't have broken people. And it's like, that is probably one of the better shocking moments, by the way, in the series. I just spoiled it for everyone. Thank you for listening to the podcast.
You son of a bitch!
But that was one of those things that kept me watching. Like, I saw that and I was like, holy crap, I can't believe that she just did that. And then the show continues, and then it got into the season before they introduced Negan. And it was like, the whole show that season was like trope after trope after trope. They had been breaking tropes before. Now they were just following. It was like they had a book of tropes and cliches and said, okay, let's check off that one and that one and that one. And by the end of it, I was just done. You know, I don't think there's a way they can recover, to be honest. Like, I think that the show is done and they need to end it.
I want to talk about one other thing that I think is done, and I'm amazed they're trying to bring back. And I guess we could really lump it into our normal. We tend to do this at least once a podcast of why the fuck are they doing this, or who the fuck asked for this. Avatar apparently is actually happening again, and did you know they're going to be using pioneering visual effect tech? Well, no shit. It's supposed to be released in 2020, right? No, we're going to use tech from back in 1999.
Is it
By the way,
2020 now?
Yep.
The avatar he's referring to is not the Airbender avatar.
Yeah, no, not the Animu one. Nope, this one is destined to be released December 18th, 2020 is when it's set. As of right now, it's a tentative date, of course. And we're talking about the blue guys that fucking a tree. So
2020. Like last I heard, it was 2019, and that. So by the time we get to this, because I believe the first one came out in either 2008 or 9.
I can't remember offhand. I can find out if you want me to.
So by the time, it doesn't matter, but it was around there. So by the time we get the sequel, it will have been over a decade.
Yep.
And aren't they supposed to be like releasing like 5 one after the other?
I don't know what the number is now. Like
4
it was
total.
a sequel, then it was 2 sequels, then it was 3. Like they kept announcing we're doing another sequel instead of announcing, hey, guess what? We're actually starting on making a sequel. Like I enjoyed the first movie. I know that's a controversial statement in this world where we have to hate everything. But I enjoyed the first sequel, which apparently was 2009. Thank you. I think I just said I enjoyed the first sequel. I enjoyed the first movie.
We knew what you meant. Does that count?
And I know it's not an original movie. It is Dances with Wolves meets Pocahontas with a little bit of Ferngully thrown in. There is nothing original in the story other than the alien part. But even that's not original because we've had things where people go into a native environment and adapt the culture, which is all they were doing.
Mm-hmm.
They were just doing it in blue alien skins. But it's a good movie. Like, it does all the things you want from a movie. It has a story that makes sense. It has characters that are mostly likable. Even the bad guy is mostly likable, which is something that James Cameron is kind of good at doing. He he hates war, but he makes it look frickin' amazing when he does a scene of battle. That being said, I honestly don't care about the Avatar franchise at this point. Like, if they had made this sequel 3 years after the first movie, I'd have been like, yeah, I'm excited. Now it's like, yeah, I'm going to see it, but I don't care.
Yeah, I don't really care. I mean, the first movie I thought was kind of meh. Like, it was a decent movie. The effects were pretty good, but it wasn't really my kind of movie. I didn't think it warranted the kind of freak out that it got from a lot of people.
Yeah, no, definitely not.
Everyone was like, I want to be an Avatar. I want to live that life. It's like,
yeah,
no,
there was a cult that started based on living a Pandoran life.
Yeah, it was
like,
weird.
Oh my good lord!
I'm going to paint myself blue and fucking a tree. You know, the fucking in the tree part,
Yeah,
I'm totally down
I
with.
wouldn't be surprised if people did that.
I think Arrested Development did something with that. You know, he kind of blew himself.
Yeah, I thought it was kind of funny how in the movie they use their hairs to fuck their ponytail to fuck each other, but at the same time they stick their ponytails in the animals that they used to ride.
Yeah, that don't look too hard into that because that gets really creepy.
Oh yeah, I know.
I would say the biggest problem I have with the sequel concepts is that we're going back to the same planet, which, by the way, it's not a planet, it's a moon around a planet, but that's, again, semantics that nobody cares about. Jake Sully is going to be back. Like, I feel like the Avatar movies could have been better serviced if they had just done a new story. Like, Avatar could have been this interesting universe to explore, right?
Mm-hmm.
But instead we're just getting more of the character that people weren't really in love with to begin with. Like, that seems like a bad idea right out of the gate.
And to lump on top of this, by the way, first, in case you're just biting at the fucking bit, December 18th, 2020 for the number 2. Number 3, December 17th, 2021. Realistically, it'll probably be December 17th, 2031. And for...
Yeah, but by the time we get to 2031, we'll have 30 sequels to expect.
Number 4 will be December 20th, 2024. And for number 5, December 19th, 2025. All right, good job, James Cameron. You're going to line everybody up for disappointment once again.
I don't think it's going to be a box office failure. I will put that out there, but I can almost guarantee it's not going to be like $1 billion moneymaker. For one thing, one of the things that made Avatar all of its money in the first place, and Hollywood, again, learning the wrong examples, it was the new 3D tech. Mm-hmm. Like it was literally brand new when Avatar came out. It was the first movie that had used it. They made the whole movie in 3D. Again, going on the idea that they're using new visual techniques. Well, that was a new thing. And people didn't go to see that movie because you should see this cool movie about blue aliens. People went to see that movie because their friend said, "Oh my God, you should see what 3D tech is like." Like that was the thing everybody said when I went before I went to see it was, "Oh my word, you should see this new 3D tech." So, because 3D prices are so high, and because everybody wanted to see the new tech, it made $2 billion whatever dollars. Mm-hmm. I have a suspicion this new movie will be lucky to make 500,000 or 500 million. I don't see it having a big draw because it wasn't it was a fine movie, but it wasn't like Star Wars. It wasn't.
Yeah, I mean, making that many sequels at once, it seems like a really, really stupid idea.
Yeah.
What if the sequel just flat out really shit? Like, what do they do with the other two movies?
Well, they could do them direct to video. For example, we all remember the YA craze. That's young adults. Tangentially started by the Hunger Games.
Oh, yeah.
I would even argue Twilight kind of started it, but Twilight's in its own category of horrible.
Aren't they like basically all based on like young adult novels?
Yes. And after the Hunger Games came out, Hollywood doing the thing that Hollywood does, it immediately latched onto every other potential YA property. There's a lot of them, but there's two that come to mind. One is a series called Divergent.
Yeah, I know that one.
And Divergent came in so late in the game because it takes like I think we talked about this last podcast. It takes like 3 years for a movie to actually get made on the low end. So by the time they scoop up a property, it's already 3 years too late. And keep in mind, the target audience for YA is YA, 13 to 16. So if you scoop up a property when a kid is 13 and it takes 3 years to make it, he's already grown out of the desire to watch it by the time you release your movie. This happened to Divergent, and the last movie is available like it's a trilogy because everything has to be a trilogy. The last movie is available on like all the streaming and whatever services because they couldn't afford to put it in theaters. Which doesn't shock me, but what does shock me is the third part of Maze Runner is going to be in theaters.
See, I didn't even know they'd made a second part of Maze Runner. I thought it had died at the first one.
I did too. But I went to see a movie this weekend. Well, I went to see Thor again. and they had a trailer for Maze Runner, whatever it's called. And I was like, wait, they're actually releasing this in theaters? I don't know who's going to watch it.
Maybe there's some diehard fans out there.
You want to know exactly how much I know about Maze Runner? That it's a name. Beyond, and that they have to run through a maze, I'm guessing. I'm literally going off of the name only. What was the huge appeal to this movie? Because it never seemed like it really broke box offices.
Well, from what I remember, the first one, and I don't remember much, is they weren't allowed to go in the maze. Like they were like in like a little like green bit, like with like grass and houses or whatever, and like they weren't allowed to go in the maze because of monsters or something like that.
So okay, I saw the Hunger Games. I was very confused. I saw the second part of the Hunger Games. It didn't explain anything from the first one, so I stopped watching it. I have not seen Divergent or any of the other ones. But Maze Runner sounded kind of interesting. Like, there's a maze and they have to do something with it. So I watched it. These kids, because, again, YA, are stuck in this green area at the end of the world. Like, the world is over, and these kids are stuck in this area where it's just them. There's no adults. Now, you would think this would lead to some Lord of the Flies stuff, but it doesn't. Instead, one of them decides, I'm going to get out of here. And the rest of the kids say, no, you can't get out of here. We've sort of tried, but not really. And so this one kid leads the way to them trying to get out of here by going through the maze. And the maze is not even really a conventional maze. It is a maze, though. Like, it's literally a big, like, walls and you go through it. But it changes, so that's kind of cheating. And there's big, giant bug robot things. Spoilers, they get out of the maze, they get into this, like, scientist's place that's all completely abandoned and looks destroyed, and it turns out that the maze was built for them to eventually get through in order to do something. Like, they're gonna save humanity somehow.
And the movie does a horrible job explaining that.
Yes, it does. And it doesn't make any sense why this maze would even do that. So after I saw that, I was like, well, that was stupid. I wish I wouldn't have wasted my time with it. And then I heard, years ago now, like 2 or 3 years ago at least, that all of these YA projects were basically dying before they end. I thought Maze Runner was one of them. I don't know what they plan to do. Like, I feel like this is a desperate attempt to make some money back before it ends or something.
So we're just expecting a steaming pile of shit that'll fail miserably.
I would assume so.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know anybody that watches the Maze Runner movies.
I've never met a person that actually went and saw it until I talked to you. Casual. No shit.
I didn't see it in the theater.
Oh, okay.
Keep in mind, I watched it on, like, Netflix or something.
Oh, okay. But still, you're the first person I actually met who watched it. If that means anything. But of course, I'm an old fuck according to everybody. So there you go. Guys, I know we have to end here shortly, but I just want to say one last thing. To all my flat earther friends, I'm sorry that you have to wait a couple more days, but Mad Mike Hughes, the 61-year-old stuntman and flat earth theory researcher, has to delay his launch a couple more days. He planned to launch himself 1,800 feet up at about 500 miles per hour in an untested, homemade, steam-powered rocket over the Mojave Desert ghost town of Amboy, California on Saturday. But apparently, of course, to prove that the Earth is flat. Here's a couple spoilers, guys, just in case you didn't realize it's not. It's a fucking globe.
It's a giant pizza being made by God.
God damn it. That's why everybody says California's going to fall off eventually. He's just going to take a chunk of the pizza. But yeah.
That's the chunk with pineapples on.
Oh, that's the best part of the pineapple.
Is good.
Fuck you, I love pineapple. Jesus, this is why we left your fucking country, because you guys don't like pineapple on pizza. In America, they like... Moving on. But, Hughes told the Washington Post that the big daddy government has thrown a few obstacles in his way. That big bad government saying, you're not allowed to know the truth about the flat earth. You schmuck. But the Bureau of Land Management has confirmed that they have given him no record of giving Hughes verbal permission to hold his rocket launch on public land like he previously claimed. And meaning that he's going to have to delay it a couple days and move the location of the launch 3 miles down the road. Because apparently steam-powered rockets take a lot prep time to do. I don't know. I've never made a steam-powered rocket, so I guess I can't really talk on any authority here. But he said it's going to take him at least 3 days to set up, so he has to tear everything down, move it all down 3 miles, and reset it all up again. But yeah, so he did one prior launch. Does anybody know what happened in his prior launch?
Did it explode?
No, luckily. But okay. He launched himself in a homemade rocket once before in 2014, earning himself a shit ton of injuries from intense G-forces, a rough landing, and he's been doing this literally to research flat Earth, and apparently the first time wasn't enough. So now he's doing it again to help do this, and he crowdfunded to raise raise money for the rocket. He only raised $310 of his $1,500 goal. $150,000 goal. I'm sorry. Then the Flat Earth Connection later helped him raise $8,000 of the eventual $20,000 to build the fucking rocket. So, yeah.
So many things.
I'd really love to see the face of one of these people when they finally do build a rocket that's capable of going into orbit. When they finally do see that the Earth is actually round, I want to see what the look on their face.
How did they know?
I've been wrong this whole time.
No, it's probably more going to be like, wait a minute. You mean to tell me they put a hologram outside my window?
They'll refuse to believe it under any circumstances. I wouldn't doubt it at all.
Yeah, because they don't want you to know their secrets.
Wouldn't it be far easier and cheaper to just go to where they say the edge is and go to Antarctica? I know they say that there's a whole fleet of ships stopping them from going any further south.
This the other one that's been, and this has been documented supposedly by scientists and Russian fighter pilots, because you believe everything from those vodka-written people. But supposedly they've tried to fly over the mountain that is at the edge of the world, but it's impossible to fly over it because it's so tall. And this is the entire edge of our flat Earth. That it's impossible to fly over this mountain. But
Do they not know of Olympus Mons, 7 mile tall mountain on Mars?
Right?
Can I just say that this is either the dumbest group of people in existence or it is the greatest joke that a group of people have ever played on society.
That was the first thing I asked. I'm like, this has to be a joke, right? And then I saw people being serious. I'm like, oh, this isn't a joke?
No, but that's what I'm saying. That could be part of the joke. Like back in the day, there were a few morons that believed that the War of the Worlds radio cast was a real thing because of the way it started.
Well, okay. We have to put ourselves in the time and place at that point. There,
I
get
that, but it is also apocryphal that everyone believed it. It was actually the research has shown that it was actually just a small group of people that were idiots. So here's my thought process. I think some of the flat earthers really do believe it. like legitimately 100%. But I have a suspicion that most of them don't. I think they are just enjoying the joke until eventually it gets boring, and we are going to have flat earthers for years because people are just going, oh, I have to be a part of this joke too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I mean, even after the joke finishes, the people that actually do believe it are going to perpetuate it afterwards.
Yeah, but will they? I mean, there can't be that many people that really believe this stuff.
I've heard
mean,
versions of this theory that say past the South Pole, there's actually more land and it just kind of goes on forever.
I would say it's another one of the theories that it's actually another dimension on the other side of the mountain. That's why it's impossible to fall off the edge of the world.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Earth is officially Minecraft.
Right?
well, no, I was going to say it's more like a map in old Final Fantasy games where it just loops back to the other side. You know,
Right.
It's not round. It's definitely flat. It just, there's an invisible field that you can't see that teleports you to the other side again.
Well, here's the thing. Oh, go ahead, Robbie. I'm sorry, bud.
Well, I'm just about to say, my question is, if the world is flat, what gender is the turtle? That was a reference to Terry Pratchett's Discworld.
I love you so
I
much
get it.
right now. I love you.
I'm not like I'm not saying that your joke was bad. What I'm trying to figure out is the answer.
42. Come on now.
Don't think about it too hard, man. So, one of my absolute favorite arguments from the flat earthers was this: is that someone decided to take a level on the plane with him, and he wanted to prove, flying from one edge of the U.S. to the other, that look, this level stays level the entire time. So obviously, the Earth has to be flat if the level didn't change at all the entire flight.
But it would have changed just based on the fact that the plane goes angles and
but the thing he seemed to
vibration,
right?
And
The thing he failed to realize is that it's going to change. That it's going to stay the same, but relative to the plane, not to the Earth. The Earth is totally separate from that plane at that point in time when it comes to being level or not.
right, a level also like that is so dumb,
Right?
Oh, so dumb.
I mean, okay.
I'm telling you, it's a joke. It's the greatest joke that has ever been created.
Well, back
But
when
then again, I am of the opinion that Scientology is also a big joke that people learned how to make money on, and it became a thing because of that.
I mean, the guy's a sci-fi writer. How can it not be? Right?
Well, he was.
No, he's dead now. Because here's the thing. I mean, I'm a critical thinker. I like to call myself a critical thinker. Most people call me a conspiracy theorist. I just like to say there might be more to a story than you initially believe. At least research it. If you find out otherwise, like, you know what? It was the truth the first time around. So be it. At least I found out the truth. That's great to critically think. But don't mindlessly follow something. Because I remember back when I was a kid, that's the first time I heard about the Flat Earthers. And it was always a joke, because remember on MTV, they make jokes about the Flat Earth Society and, sign up here for the Flat Earth Society. It was a joke. That's all I could think of. Is that's where the start of it was an MTV joke, and people started taking it seriously. But was it really, or was that just them making fun of the real Flat Earthers?
I honestly don't know, because to me it feels like it's a relatively new thing. Like, it's become a big deal because people keep doing news stories and people keep doing all the jokes about it. But I feel like it's not even a decade old. Like, that people have really been, quote, paying attention to flat earthers. And that's...
In the future, the flat earthers will go to war with the hollow earthers.
Oh, God.
I hope so. Get rid of both of them.
Kind of like the people who believe the moon is hollow also, because supposedly they felt the whole moon vibrate when they landed. Oh, that was a fun one. Oh,
It's not hollow. It goes on your hamburgers.
Oh, Jesus Christ. I love
know-
you guys. Just casual. Trust me, buddy. Trust me. Just walk away before this gets any worse.
Yeah.
I love you guys. You have all been amazing. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm Stacy Kruger. Who are you guys?
I'm Robbie.
I'm Red. The Earth is not flat.
I am flat challenged.
And I am Stacy. The moon is not hollow, you schmucks. Kruger. We love you guys. Thank you so much for being here. We'll catch you next time. We have been the Odd Pod. You've been fucking amazing.
Goodbye.